Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. I truly believe the Patriots can lose at home in the playoffs. And no, I'm not drunk or high or drunk and high perna. Now, you may have seen this photo of Bill Belichick and Kid Rock emerge this week. We are about to find out if Kid Rock is indeed the white trash version of Drake. Will he curse the Patriots the way Drake curses every team he roots for? Also, Kid Rock standing next to Bill Belichick? I can't imagine one man having less respect for another man's professional work. To me, Kid Rock next to Bill Belichick is like an actual rock next to a plate of caviar. I think they both taste like shit, but I know the caviar is the finest food to come out of a fish's vagina, which does pair well with the Tecate Kid Rock is drinking. Tecate is the only thing in that photo I like. But today we will talk about all of the playoff Sunday football games, Chargers, Patriots, and then Big Dick Nick versus the Saints. That's good sports. Hey, I dare you to not subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, this episode is officially sponsored by Manscapedcom. I'm manscaping expert and legend Brandon Perna, and I've been growing body gardens for about 20 years now. And what I've learned is if you want the tree to look bigger, you need to keep the bushes trimmed. To do that, having the right tools is a necessity, and that's why I ditched these dangerous shears long ago and ordered my products from Manscaped.com with the promo code SPORT20. That's a weird sound to make in a forest. Manscaping should be easy and convenient. And with the lawnmower, which is waterproof for easy cleaning, you can keep things smooth, avoiding turning your tree into a prickly cactus. These trimmers are designed to help you achieve the intricacy of trimming a delicate bonsai tree, while also having the power to mow down the bush next to the great redwoods. And even if you don't need your tree to look bigger, whoever you are, keeping a well-kept yard is the manly thing to do. It's also probably mandated by your HOA. So use my promo code SPORT20 and you will get $20 off your first order at manscaped.com. I'm a man. All right, we've got the Chargers versus the Patriots. The Patriots are 4-point favorites, over under 47.5. Chargers quarterback Philip Rivers is a guy who has done nothing but annoy me his entire career. He's given me nothing other than an endless supply of jokes since entering the NFL. And now I am asking him to give me the greatest gift on earth, a Patriots postseason loss, or enough money to pay off my home loan. Technically, he can do both. In this game, we have one quarterback who can't stop having kids and another quarterback who can't stop French kissing them. The last time these two teams met in the playoffs, Philip Rivers had only 3 children and no ACL. Since then, he's added 5 more kids, 1 on the way. He's clearly become a different man since then. He probably hasn't gotten a full night's sleep since 2010. I guarantee he's changed over 10,000 diapers this last decade, and he's found 20,000 different ways to not use the word fuck.
That gummit, let's go. Dang it. Crap. You're just a little turd. Heck yeah. Yes! It's baffling though, isn't it? Goodness gracious alive!
For Rivers, work is being screamed at by a bunch of people in his own stadium, and home is being screamed at by a bunch of people in his own house. You think Foxborough intimidates Philip Rivers like it intimidates Marcus Mariota or Alex Smith? Fuck no. A hostile road crowd is what Philip Rivers calls a vacation. I do think the return of tight end Hunter Henry, Philip Rivers' only illegitimate son, is significant because Virgil Green did not play particularly well against the Ravens last week. Right now, New England's secondary is playing as well as any in the NFL, so the Chargers could use Henry as a receiving threat to add to Keenan Allen, the Williams brothers, and Mr. Reliable Antonio Gates. Hunter Henry is like that extra gear in your car that you haven't tried out. You think, well, I'm driving perfectly fine without it. I might be able to go a little faster, but at the same time, for all I know, I could shift into H and the whole car would explode.
Put it in H!
The Chargers realize that the Gates gear maxes out at about 7 miles per hour on a good day, so it's worth testing out what Hunter Henry can do, even though it's January and he was hurt all the way back in May. There's nothing safer than putting the ball in a guy's hands who hasn't played all season. Usually people don't talk about how good the Patriots defense is because the offense is fucking destroying people. But even this year, with Brady looking like the worst version of himself, which is still better than the best version of Andy Dalton, nobody is talking about how good the Pats D has become. Corner Stephon Gilmore is having his best season. The McCourty twins communicate telepathically, bringing elevators of blood with them everywhere they go. And one of the biggest differences this season, Trey Flowers and Lawrence Guy are giving the Pats the best pass rush and interior disruption they've had in a few years. The silver lining is the Chargers just faced an equally talented defense in the Ravens. Statistically, Rivers and Brady are having nearly identical seasons, with one of the differences being Rivers has been sacked 11 more times. Brady has a much better offensive line in front of him. I really believe LA's offensive line could cost them this game. I also believe if they force Brady to try and beat them through the air, they can win this game. That's right, I said it. Make Brady throw. The Patriots have lost games this season when they can't run the ball. They were the 5th most effective rushing team throughout the season. 8 of the 11 best rushing teams were in the playoffs. And yes, the Chargers knocked one of them out last week. Defensive coordinator Gus Bradley needs an equally effective game plan to take the run away from the Patriots. If they do that, I think LA can win. The Chargers D matches up very well with New England's receivers and Gronk. Julian Edelman, Brady's most dangerous target, gets Desmond King, maybe the best slot corner in the NFL this season. Rookie Derwin James did a great job against Travis Kelce and Jared Cook, so I like him on Gronk. And I don't think Chris Hogan is scaring anyone anymore. Except for those of us who believe he was one of the children of the corn. We saw how important special teams was for the Chargers last week. Kicker Michael Badgley saved their asses with 5 field goals, and Pats kicker Steven Gostkowski has missed 5 field goals this year. He's also missed an extra point in the playoffs before. But I think Desmond King in the return game could play a role for the Chargers. He had a big kick and punt return last week against the Ravens. You could argue Cordarrelle Patterson might do the same for the Patriots, but LA signed kicker Nick Rose to foot blast balls out of the end zone all day. Chargers running back Melvin Gordon continues to battle an ankle injury and surge pricing in his Ubers. So hopefully, LA finds better ways to get production from Austin Eckler, who could really James White the shit out of the Patriots. If you're on the fence about who to root for in this game, I suggest the Chargers and defensive lineman Brandon Mebane, whose daughter passed away earlier this week. And now, Mebane is going out to play in this game, to be there for his teammates despite the fact that he's dealing with one of the worst weeks of his life. If you're not rooting for him to win, I don't know what to say. I'm picking the Chargers to defeat the Patriots in New England. Then, we have Philadelphia Eagles at New Orleans Saints. NOLA, 7.5 point favorites, over under 51.5. The worst thing that could happen for America is that both the Eagles and Cowboys win this weekend. An all-NFC East championship game feels more dirty than watching every episode of Oz with your grandma. How am I supposed to pick Big Dick Nick when Sean Payton supposedly walked into the Saints locker room and slammed down the Lombardi trophy on top of $250,000 in cash and said, "You want this? Win 3 fucking games." Big Dick Nick just got PP Pythoned by Peyton. I already explained why God is clearly on Nick Foles' side, after the equally devout Cody Parquet was smited in the wildcard round. And I'm sorry, Saints fans, because I found even more evidence this week in Foles' favor. Because those who trust in the Lord
Renew their strength. Amen.
and no one trusts more than Saint Nick.
That's what I'm talking about. Amen. Amen.
Sorry, Rev, that dude is still super racist, but here's the kicker.
Wings like eagles, yo, like eagles, yo.
Like eagles, yeah.
Like eagles, yo.
Why else would that scene come up at the exact moment I was working on this prediction episode? Now, this game is all about Drew Brees and Nick Foles. Can the Saints offense return to form after never really looking the same since getting hosed by Dallas? Dallas actually beat both of these teams in a 10-day span. So I think right now, Eagles fans and Saints fans are rooting for a big Rams win on Saturday, as both the Saints and Eagles beat the Rams this season. The Eagles' defensive line has been unstoppable recently, and the Saints' defense was solid pretty much all season long. That's why I'm really pointing to the quarterbacks. Again, bad news for Drew Brees, who had all of his high school passing records broken by Nick Foles. What's next? Foles opens 70 Starbucks to outshine Drew Brees' 69 Dunkin' Donut shops? Whoa, if you say Drew Brees', it sounds like Drew Jesus. Could affect Nick Foles' QB God rating. Against Chicago, the Eagles' defensive line had 3 sacks and 14 QB hurries. They will need more than that to fuck with who dat at home, which is totally possible considering the Saints only have 3 tackles and 2 guards on the injury report this week. Injuries to that Saints line are nothing new this season, but that is the real reason, in my opinion, why we saw the Saints offense step off the gas late in the season. No team needed that bye week more than them. Both teams have great defensive lines, but I give Philly the advantage unless that Saints offensive line actually heals. There's just too much depth and talent in that rotation for the Eagles. The only thing I can think about when I picture this game is that hit from the 2006 playoffs when Sheldon Brown sent Reggie Bush into the 4th dimension. And yes, that is the hardest I have ever seen a Bush pounded since the 70s. Oh, you knew it was coming! You knew a Bush sex joke was coming! And you stuck around for it because you are some sick motherfuckers! You're also immature. You are very immature if you laughed at that. Somehow, hits like that make 2006 feel like it was 50 years ago. Hits like that also aged Reggie Bush's brain by 50 years. However, I will say the Eagles secondary played surprisingly well against the Chicago Bears. But it's really hard for me to envision a man named Cre'Von LeBlanc playing well in coverage 2 weeks in a row. Wait. Cre'Von LeBlanc is the most New Orleans sounding name I think I've ever heard. I predict a pick 6 for Cre'Von LeBlanc. The Saints do have an answer for any Nick Foles trick plays, and his name is Taysom Hill. Don't be surprised if Taysom kicks a touchdown in this game. Again, this is the last game of the week, which means it receives the least amount of my analytical attention. Do you go with Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Drew Brees, or Nick Foles, Darren Sproles, and Alshon Jeffrey? Well, I'm picking the Saints to win despite... But also because Eagles fans know every time I pick Philly to lose in the postseason, they win. And I like both of these teams, and I really just don't want to piss off fans of either. So, Saints win, but... Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Give @WillKey6 a follow on Twitter. He helps me write all these bad boys. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, @BrandonPerna. If you want to follow me there, I've got videos on the screen right now. If you click those, you get more football, dumb jokes, and talking by me. That's you, boy.